Welcome back to another live episode of the Purple Rain Podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode, live episode, pregame episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. We're getting ready to preview the Ravens versus Cardinals. There's rumors going on. I see it already. I cannot wait to talk about it. But first and foremost, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter at Sutton Def. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And no, we are not sponsored by oranges today. I wish we were. We are sponsored by Manscaped. If you want to go on there, get yourself something nice, get a friend something nice, get a loved one something nice, whether it be boxers, whether it be the shed, whether it be, to shape up, I'm freshly shaven now, if you do want something on there, use code PRP, 20% off and free shipping. It is episode 204. So for the first time ever, it is the ZAY Flowers episode and the Sam Cooke episode and the Jim Harbaugh episode, who I really don't like, but neither here nor there. But on this Friday Eve, how are you doing, Sutton?
I'm doing well. I'm more concerned about the Rain Gang, the live chat, the replay gang, everybody who's in here watching, listening. Just first and foremost, thank you. On behalf of both of us, we appreciate you guys for coming out, supporting us. And, we're going to get into some Ravens talk today. I don't even want to mince words too much, to be honest with you. But before we do that, I do got to do one more thing. The live chat. You guys already see who's in here. J Prime 235 in the house. What's going on, brother? Showcase FTR says, what's up, fellas? What's going on with you? Appreciate you for coming through. Tanja Bowman in the house. What up, PRP and the flock? Hey, Tanja. We got Dylan Paul, one of our contest winners from last year, says, what's going on, fellas? What's going on, Dylan? Hope you're doing all right. Brandon Lewis in the house says, what's up, gang? What's going on, Brandon? Jabari Cruz Ellis himself, a Purple Rain pioneer. He's been around for a long time. Appreciate you for coming through, bro. Cameron Hines in the house says, hey, I made it to the pregame PRP. Yes, sir. I know that's right. Welcome back, Cameron. We appreciate that. Rico's in the house. Rico says, Rain Gang, Alex, Sutton, what's good? What's good with you, Rico? Let us know. What's going on? Appreciate you for coming through. Emmanuel in the chat as well. I'll be seeing him all the time on Twitter. He's real active on Twitter. Love him. Love his takes. Shout out to Emmanuel. Dre in the house as well. That's my boy. Shout out to Dre. Quoney is in here. What's going on? Quoney says the ZAY Flowers episode. Mm-hmm. Flowers are blooming. Flowers are starting to bloom for this Ravens offense. We're going to get into it. Some more talk, some more engineering designs is in the house as well. We got Chike in the house. Says, what's up, guys? At my first college game in Connecticut, and it's going to be broadcast live on CBS Sports. I'm going to give my score predictions, and I'm going to say 34-17 Ravens, and we go on a run, guys. I mean, look, I'm hopeful. Connecticut. Yeah. Funny, my sister's actually lives in Connecticut.
Really?
Fun fact, I have a sister, right?
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah. But shout out to you. Yolanda is in the house as well. Good evening, Yolanda. Max is in the house too. Says, what's happening, PRP? What's happening, Max? Appreciate you for rolling on through this episode of the show. Okay. So we came here to talk about, week 8, Ravens going to visit the Cardinals in Arizona. Haven't played them since 2019. We remember how that game went. Kind of the story of this one, and let me just say, Hollywood Brown put the stamp on the last victory we had over the Cardinals. And it's very ironic that we're playing the Cardinals again, and Hollywood Brown actually plays on the other team this time. So that's one big storyline that's been on my brain for the past couple of days, or at least today mainly. But we're going to go ahead and get into our ball talk segment of the show, which is brought to you by Manscaped, which is the Purple Rain preview, as you guys know we normally would do. But before we get into that, make sure you like the video. Just real simple, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. But the likes are very important to us, guys. Helps us out so much on this channel. Like, you guys don't even know. Like, for those of you guys who do have YouTube channels and you post videos and stuff, you know how important likes are. It helps grow the channel. So if you could just take a little second to hit that little thumbs up button right underneath your screen. If you're watching on your mobile phone, scroll down a little bit, do what you got to do. We're going to go ahead and take 5 seconds of silence for you guys to like the video. Ready and go. Okay, so by now, hopefully you've liked the video, right? And if you haven't liked the video yet, maybe consider it. We'd appreciate it, or maybe you want to stick around and see what we have to say first before you give away your hard-earned liked. We understand that. We understand that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into some ball talk here. But before we do that,
Oh my gosh.
we got
Forget
a
that.
super chat donation.
Max.
We got a super chat donation. Y'all don't want us to get to the real talk, but ball talk today, obviously. What's going on, Max? Thanks for the 5-piece in the chat, man. Making it rain here on this episode 204 of the Purple Rain podcast. Is how would y'all feel about someone like Josh Jacobs or Dalvin Cook if Henry will cost too much?
I'm not big on Dalvin Cook, but
Yeah.
you are doing something with Josh Jacobs, so that contract ain't bad. I wouldn't hate it at all. The Raiders are in shambles, as you may tell. I mean, they lost to a backup quarterback who went to a D2 school. No disrespect, of course. No disrespect. I would like Josh Jacobs. That would be an intriguing move. I mean, I saw him last year, what he did. He was winning games for that Raiders offense by himself. I definitely would like him.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, Alex, I still, if it's not going to be Derrick Henry, I think we just go in a totally different direction, in a different position group. To be honest, let's go see what Brian Burns is hitting on. You know what I mean? If we're not going to get Derrick Henry, I talked about it on the last episode of the show. The bind that defenses will be put in by simply having Derrick Henry line up behind Lamar Jackson or alongside Lamar Jackson in the shotgun, it's just, you wouldn't be able to stop it. It's literally, we talk about pick your poison now. Oh my God. Like, if you put Derrick Henry into that offense, is really pick your poison.
Yeah.
So, and it's also, I'll say this, I think it's also a very interesting time of the season. This is one of my favorite times of year, because now, like week 7, week 8, you got teams who are like 2-5, 1-6, and they kind of know, right? And they kind of know like the trajectory of the season and how it's going to go. Okay, we're not making the playoffs, we're not making a Super Bowl run, so essentially, it's kind of time to punt on the season, right? So they'll take some of their best players or more well-renowned players and kind of put them on the trading block and see, hey, look, can we get some draft capital out of this guy, out of this big name? I mean, the Commanders are doing it right now with Chase Young and Montez Sweat. The Titans did it with Kevin Byard. They're doing it with Derrick Henry as well. Panthers, Brian Burr. The examples are out there. At this point in the season, when teams start to kind of let the season slip away from them, that's when we start to see these trades happen, and the trade deadline obviously being next week. I think we're in for a surprise. I think we're in for a surprise as Ravens fans and just football fans in general. I think there's going to be a couple of big moves that raise some eyebrows. So I'm interested to see that. We do have another super chat donation that I'm interested to see as well. Jabari Cruz, Alice coming through with the 2-piece in the chat, making it rain, says Josh Jacob to us would be fire. We appreciate the super chat donation.
Thank
Jabari.
You.
We really do. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, another Bama running back. I mean, Derrick Henry went to Bama. Josh Jacobs went to Bama. I definitely would prefer, guys like them instead of a guy like, I mean, Dalvin Cook hasn't really shown that much this year. We know what he's done in the past. But, I mean, I personally don't want Lamar to be our leading rusher every single game because just how high of a level he's playing this year, with his arm. I really don't want – I'm not going to say because we've seen it happen the past 2 years. I prefer, we have a running back, take those hits. But, yeah, I do think Josh Jacobs will be fire in this offense.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's go ahead and get into our Purple Rain preview. Yes. And as you guys always know, brought to you by Manscaped, it's ball talk time. We're going to start off with the I-word report, aka the health report, where our guy Alex takes the reins on it. So go ahead, bro. Let us know who's in, who's out.
Yeah, see, the worst thing I hate about social media is the mass hysteria, maybe a little bit, everybody freaking out about basically nothing. And that was yesterday in Roquan Smith. Didn't practice. And then classic John Harbaugh saying, not even talking about why Roquan Smith wasn't at practice. So what does Ravens fans do? They go and look at Odafe Oweh's story. Oh, there's Roquan Smith in the locker room. He looks fine. And then it comes out today. He practiced full. Odell Beckham Jr. limited. Keaton Mitchell limited. Odafe Oweh limited. Kevon Seymour full. Roquan Smith full. Tylan Wallace full. And Marcus Williams did not practice. He's obviously not going to play this week, and I wouldn't even expect next week or maybe even the week after. That's not a surprise to me. Looking at the Cardinals, O-lineman hasn't practiced, Elijah Wilkinson. And then the defensive lineman, Kevin Chung. So in the trenches, a little banged up. Calvin Beecham, he's practiced full. Chris Barnes hasn't practiced. But one thing I'm looking at is Kyler Murray. He was full and he didn't have any designation today. I don't think he'll play Sunday.
No.
I think they'd be stupid to rush him back this early after just one full week of just, no designation practice. But, I mean, pretty healthy still. That's my biggest takeaway for the second straight week. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely say that I'd say back in like week 2, week 3, we were not feeling this way, right? Like we were not. It looked like we were primed for another season that was riddled with I words, right? And we've kind of turned things around. And obviously the season's not over. We're not even halfway done, almost halfway done. But still some work to be done, but we do have to be thankful and acknowledge when we are healthy, and that is what we are right now, at least relatively. Now, when it comes to Kyler Murray, I agree with you 100%. I don't think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to risk trotting him back out onto that field, especially against the number 1 defense in the league. And yes, I did say the number 1 defense in the league. That is a fact. That is a fact. And we're going to get into that in just a little bit here. But yeah, no, I agree with you for sure. Kyler Murray, he shouldn't be back this week. It just wouldn't make sense. Don't rush him.
Yeah,
you want to give him like a ramp up game, right?
Right, and especially against the team that I know, me personally, I still don't feel like we are the number 1 team with sacks, but we are best sacking defense in the league. So that's without a premier edge rusher. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney has turned the clock back. Kyle Van Noy has turned the clock back, but we don't have a Daniil Hunter, a Micah Parsons, but we do have a Justin Madubuike who has more sacks than Aaron Donald and Micah Parsons in a contract year, which sucks. But I'm happy for Madubuike because he's balling.
Wait, can you say that again about Justin Madubuike having more sacks than who else again?
Aaron Donald, Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons? Well, no, that can't be right? I mean, because Micah Parsons, he lines up on the edge, right? So his whole job is to go get the quarterback, right?
Yep.
And Justin Madubuike, he's an interior D lineman. So how would it make sense that the person with more responsibility, you got to get through your blocks, you got to stop the run, you got to get to the quarterback, fight through the offensive line. He has more responsibilities than a Michael Parsons. And I know we're only 8 weeks in, but that says something to me. Justin Madubuike is a very special player that does not get talked about quite enough. 5.5 sacks so far this season. That is really, really good for an interior D lineman. And like I said on the last episode, I mean, the guy's on pace to get like 12 sacks as an interior D lineman. It's crazy.
I just don't. I mean, we told you so. I feel like we've been the biggest Madubuike truthers. We've been Queen truthers, BK truthers, like for a while now, and just it feels good to see it, come to fruition. I think he even has more than the number 2 overall pick, Aiden Hutchinson. I mean,
yeah, guy's nice, and it's not even like quarterbacks are just simply running into him for a sack. The pocket's just breaking down. No, he's running guys down. You know what I mean? Like he looks like an edge rusher out there when he's coming after him. Like he's big, he's physical, and he's fast and quick.
Can I give you some more ammunition for this Ravens D line?
Sure.
Highest graded defensive lineman this past week in the run. Who was it? Connecticut.
Travis.
Yes. Travis Jones, highest graded run defender this past week. I mean, what is there to not be excited about this defense? And just Project Washington having a great year after getting extended. Jadeveon Clowney, like I said, Kyle Van Noy playing like they're 25, 26, 27 again?
Yeah. I mean,
Odafe Owe having his best game in a while. I mean, coming back from injury, but he had a sack and was terrorizing Goff.
Right. I mean, we're talking a whole lot about the defense right now. Let's just go ahead and get into the numbers, the matchup breakdown, right? So here is the official Purple Rain preview, the game day breakdown. So Ravens on the left, Cardinals on the right, obviously. Just going to run through this really quick. Passing yards a game, 230 for the Ravens, 145 rushing yards a game. Passing yards allowed per game, 210. Rush yards allowed a game, 96. Now, if we go down to these last 2 stats, these stand out to me. Points per game, 24.4. A little bit of that is inflated, of course, because last week we put up 38. but we're ranked 10th in the league. 7 weeks in, or 8 weeks in, technically, we are ranked 10th in the league in points per game. And I think we're going to continue to trend upward with that. That is the hope, obviously. But if we go down one more stat, right, and we look at that points per game allowed at 13.9, that is a resounding first place in the NFL in points per game allowed. So, like I just said 2-3 minutes ago, the Ravens have the best defense. And if you're not a Ravens fan watching or listening to this, you might be like, do the Ravens really have the best defense? Because yes, in fact, they do have the best defense because they let up the least amount of points out of all 32 teams in the NFL. So I'll just leave that there for you. And then Cardinals, passing yards a game, 195, rush yards a game, 139, pass yards allowed per game, 260, rush yards allowed a game, 131, points per game, 18.1, which is 24th in the league, and points per game allowed, 26, which is 26th in the league. So Alex, I'm going to come to you first here, and then Rain Gang, you guys put your thoughts in the chat. Based off of these numbers here, what really jumps off the screen to you in terms of like keys to victory, what the Ravens need to do to win?
Okay, this isn't keys to victory. It's just the points per game allowed, 13.9. Okay. Like that in this NFL. And like you got to look at some of the teams we've played. We haven't played like bad teams at all. You know, we've played some pretty damn good teams. 13.9. I'm like, let me kind of go down the memory lane. The Ravens 2000 defense allowed 10.3 points per game. So I'm like, I was just trying to maybe compare it. There's really no comparison. I was praying it would have been, maybe a little bit towards that. But yeah, 13.9 is insane. But what I'm looking at for the Ravens now is actually the rushing yards allowed per game. Under 100, that's kind of what Ravens defense is known for, keeping the opposing team under 100 rushing yards, which is something that I think the Colts did. Zach Moss hit us for like 130, I believe. I don't see the Cardinals hitting us this week though. But I'm looking over at them now. The passing yards allowed per game, 260.
260.
And after what Lamar did last week, all right, I think Todd Monken's gonna roll with the hot hand. I think he'll get his running in, but Zay Flowers, I'm looking at you again. Odell, I'm looking at you again. Hell, Bate, Aguilar, looking at you again. Another big week for you guys, and allowing 26 points per game. They're on the bottom of the league. 26. We just put up 38.
Right. And you know what? I'm going to give you my keys to victory here. And I want you guys to drop your keys to victory down in the live chat. If you're not watching this live and you are part of the hashtag replay gang, thank you so much for coming through to this episode. Make sure you leave your score predictions, keys to victory, comments, questions, concerns, all that down below. We'd appreciate it. And like K-Dog says here, make sure you hit that like button. We appreciate that too. But yeah, my key to victory and my biggest one, it's real simple this week. Simply a simple key to victory from me to Simply AS10 right here, right now. All that needs to happen on Sunday in order for the Ravens to walk away with a W is for them to simply not play down to the level of competition. That's literally all it is. We sat here just now and went through, the team stats for the Cardinals right now. They look pretty bad. Pretty much every single metric looks bad. So I think it's safe to say that the Cardinals right now, at least, are a bad team. They're a bad football team, right? And the Ravens, you come over and look at our numbers, we're a good football team. So that's what the game needs to be indicative of on Sunday at 4:25 p.m. on CBS. I need to see that. I need to see these numbers on the football field. I need to see them translate. And let me say this. I don't want to get too much on my soapbox right here, but you guys know I love UFC. Michael Bisping was a former UFC middleweight champion. He famously said one time in an interview, he said, what a lot of people don't know about fighting, and I think this kind of translates well to other professional sports as well that are played at the highest level, of course. What a lot of people don't know about fighting is that when two guys are walking into that arena, both of those guys already know who's going to win the fight. Both of those guys already know, because one of the guys knows that he's either at a disadvantage, he's just not as good, and he's just not going to be as confident for that reason. You know what I mean? And I think the same kind of applies for any sport that's played at the highest level. You have to have confidence at the highest level in order to perform. So what happens a lot of time when the Ravens play these bad teams is that, we kind of start slow a little bit. And before you know it, we're midway through the third quarter in a 5-point game or less with a team where we should be blowing them out by 15 to 20. And when that happens, that team wakes up in the third quarter like, wait a minute, we weren't supposed to be here. We weren't supposed to get this far in this game. Maybe we are as good as we think we are. Maybe we are as good as them. Maybe we are better than them. And that gives them a power that you just can't. It's intangible. You can't really see it. I can't really describe it too well. And I'm sorry if I'm not doing a good job at it, but that confidence is paramount. It's paramount, and to be able to perform at the highest level as an athlete. So against other
No, you did a
professional athletes,
fantastic job, because we talk about scripts and sports. You just explained the week 3 script against Indianapolis Colts is what you did. They had no business being in that game with us at all.
Yeah.
And we let them hang around, and we all know what happened. We lost.
Right. Yeah. Took an L right on the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Want to see some of you. Oh, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that you said you may not have done a good job explaining that. No, like I'm had the Colts game replaying in my head when you were giving that story.
Yeah, that Colts game was painful. But there's been a lot of games like that, Alex, over the years, not even just this season. So that's just something that we want to see, like start fast and kind of just take their heart from them early. You know what I mean? And I mean that, like take their heart early. I need early scores, kind of like last week. Just run away with it. Don't let them hang around. But I do want to see you guys' keys to victory. You're going to bring them up here on screen. We see J Prime 235 in the house says my key to victory: don't play down the competition. Ravens 30-14. Yeah, pretty much just echoing what I said there. We're going to get into our score predictions in just a minute here. Rainmaker says keys to victory: no turnovers, no stupid penalties, and catch the damn ball. I like this too. Too.
And we talk about not playing down the competition. I think about how high I think I was after we beat the Browns and the best defense in the league. What, 20? What was it? 27-3, 28-3, something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was 24.
I mean 24-3. Okay. Yeah. And the next week we go and we lose 17-10 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who literally were chanting "Fire Matt Canada," how in shambles their team was, and we lose to them. I look at this now. We go and beat a good Lions team, I think, 38-6, and now we're going away to the Cardinals, where you like Josh Dobbs starting. Who do they have? They're not a good team. They're a bottom of the half team,
right?
And you think that should be an easy win for the Ravens, and it should be. John Harbaugh, I need you to be a coach and get them prepared. How you had them prepared. I don't like in 2019, like I said, man, like we literally would just no matter who it was, we didn't have any letdown games in the regular season. Except this year feels different. Like I brought up on Monday, how the players weren't even really happy with the win on Sunday. They were kind of focusing on what they did wrong, and listening to them talk. And then in the pressers this week, they're reiterating that there's places they got to get better. I think Todd Monken acknowledged that there were small things in the offense that got to get better. The fact we put up 38 points and had, I think, it was DVOA, like the best game played by a team this year, and we still want to improve on that, is telling me all I need to know about this team. Keep that mentality. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, I mean, because I think if you turn the clocks back exactly like a year ago, the Ravens were struggling right now. Lamar Jackson was struggling, and this was like in the weeks leading up to him getting hurt. Offense didn't look good at all, and we were just kind of spiraling a little bit, if you will. But it is promising to know that we had a promising performance on offense last week, and those guys are not satisfied. They want to keep it rolling in the weeks ahead. Love that.
You know what I also love?
What?
We have 62 people watching and 34 likes. Thank you to everybody who is watching right now. And if you have not liked the video, consider liking it. Helps the channel out. And if you want to join the Rain Gang, subscribe. You're welcome here. Yeah. We love you.
Yes, we do. We're all a big happy family here. Let's go ahead and get into some more keys to victory from you guys. Dylan says, don't turn the ball over and give them good field position and keep them in the game. Yeah.
No fumbles. Fumbles. I think that's one thing that maybe I'm spoiled as a Ravens fan. That fumble genuinely pissed me off last week when I'm at the game. I'm like, can we go 1 week without a silly mistake? And that's kind of, to me, that would have been a perfect game if we didn't fumble. So hopefully we improve on that. And because that in a closer game can change it. We were driving and just kind of handing them possible momentum if it was a closer game. Got to clean those up.
Yeah, and I think that the reason why the Ravens fumble or do have a fumbling problem, or kind of had a fumbling problem ever since Lamar Jackson has taken over at quarterback, is because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors that are incorporated into this offense. And, the term smoke and mirrors comes from magic, like what magicians do, right? And it's a trick. And you have to be so precise every time. You have to be perfect, or else you give away the trick, or it gets messed up, or it gets spoiled in some way. And I think with all the, the RPOs, the QB options and whatnot, and Lamar, faking the ball to the running back and then trying to pull it at the last second. He's been doing that probably like 20 times a game, right? For the past 5-6 years. So, and probably the majority of his career period. So I think those accidents are bound to happen. But again, it's no excuse. These are professionals. They do practice this stuff day in, day out, right? So you would hope that it gets cleaned up. But I do understand where that problem, where that issue kind of stems from. But yeah, let's go ahead and what do you get? What do you gonna? You
No, I see. Max says play a clean game and get out healthy.
Yeah.
Honestly, if this is the one. If I were to get one tattooed on me, it's this one. Clean game, get out healthy. That was my biggest thing was last week. I'm like, all right, we're gonna win this game. Let's take the starters out, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. I was in there. I'm like, where's Trent Simpson at? I'm like, I'm glad he was getting some defensive plays. Because you really can't teach those first team reps he had going on in the fourth quarter. Happy to see guys like Rocket Sin out there, but yeah, getting out healthy is the biggest thing now. So
yeah, definitely.
I don't want to see the I word report getting any bigger.
Yeah, me neither. That would not be fun. Okay. So before we get into our score predictions, we're going to do a little week 2 edition of this little graphic here from Ben Baldwin on X, aka Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I'm just kind of showing the unit strength for the trenches. So offensive line play and defensive line play from every team in the league, kind of puts them in this big chart, 4 big charts. They kind of break it down into 4 categories. And you can see where your unit is performing at in terms of the trenches. So if we take a good look here, and the Cardinals and the Ravens are circled on each chart, so you can kind of see exactly where they are, where they stand amongst the other teams in the league. Pass protection, the Ravens are a little bit above average right now, according to the charts, and that kind of checks out, right? I mean, the offensive line hasn't been playing perfectly, but they have been playing. I think they're trending in a good direction. Cardinals aren't too far off. They're a little bit below average. If you look at pass rush, the Cardinals don't really have much of a pass rush. Pass rush just isn't there. And then if you look at the Ravens pass rush, we're like dead in the center, like in the middle, right? So I think that the pass rush is also trending in the right direction. Like I said, we lead the league in sacks, but I think that this is accounting for scheme in a way, because if you see on the bottom of these charts, it says grade, and that's by PFF, and they take into account just a lot more than just simply win rate. So if everything taken into account, that's why I like these charts, because it goes with win rate and then also the PFF grade, which provides a little bit more context, I would like to think, right? Then we go down to the run blocking. Cardinals below average, Ravens above average. Run defense, Cardinals below average, like much below average, and the Ravens kind of okay at it. And like you were saying before, letting up 96 yards a game, a little bit uncharacteristic for us to even be that high, right? It's still under 100, but still a little bit uncharacteristic for this Ravens defense. So hopefully that is a hole that can be patched up on the defense, and we can start trying to shut down these running backs a little bit more. But what jumps out to you from this?
Not even Ravens Cardinals, man. It's the Browns, their run defense and their pass rush. I'm like, damn, like look at the Browns freaking helmet, man. Like that's what happened to Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith can do to a defense. I'm not gonna lie. And that's why they are getting best defense shouts. But for me, I'm actually looking at the pass protection, because I saw a pretty good stat how I think John Simpson had no hurries, he had played a pretty clean game on Sunday, which is personally for me, I wasn't expecting him to kind of shoe in and be this good from the middle of the year, but that's something I was looking at. And then honestly, the pass rush, I mean, that's kind of, I think, a fair assessment for where we really are. Getting the sacks, not all the way up there, but it's Mike McDonald just being him. And I want him here for a long time, which I don't think is going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, just with the way that he's coaching right now and the way that this defense has pretty much just been lights out, it's kind of hard to expect him to stick around as our defensive coordinator for years to come or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah. Unless.
Another story for another day. But look at the top pass rushing teams in the league up there. You see Cowboys, Micah Parsons, Browns, Myles Garrett, 49ers, Nick Bosa. You know what I mean? Like there's a trend there. You got some of the premier pass rushers in the league, and those are guys who can get home with a 4-man rush. And I think that's why these teams are ranked so high on this list, because those guys give them the ability to do that. So yeah. That's just a quick look at the trench work, the trench measures from the offensive line, defensive line. Moving right along here, looking at the last couple of matchups, right? So we looked at this for the Lions last week, and we found out that the Ravens were actually 5-1 against the Lions going into Sunday's matchup. And the Ravens are actually, what is this? 5-2, it looks like, against the Cardinals. That last matchup coming in 2019, like I mentioned earlier, one where Lamar Jackson had the deep ball to Hollywood Brown to kind of seal the deal in that game. Good times for sure. But looking at the score and the history of the scores, I know it doesn't always, translate very well into what's going to happen in the next game. But this is our segue officially into our score prediction for the Ravens at Cardinals. So if you're watching, if you're listening right now, make sure you drop your score predictions down in the chat. Please. We will bring them up on screen. Please do. Alex, I want to come to you first, though. I want to know your score prediction for this game that's going to be happening on Sunday at 4 o'clock CBS. Who's going to win? Ravens, Cardinals. What's the score going to be?
You bringing this up, man. That game in 2015, that Monday night game, I remember that game so vividly. I remember it was when Chris Johnson was playing for them, and like they tackled him and he rolled over and he never hit the ground. And then he went running for a touchdown. I turned it off at that moment. I remember that so vividly because I remember I had to go to school the next day and to hear all the BS from people because all the non-Raven fans love talking trash about the Ravens. There are people that would live in Baltimore and not be Ravens fans just to talk trash. That was like,
I know some.
That would grind. Yes, that would grind my gears in school. But give me the Ravens winning. All right. Back-to-back weeks. 31-10. 31-10.
Ooh,
Ravens.
Okay. You're real close to our guy Dre here. It says 32-10. Real close. But I like that score prediction, though. I like that score prediction. I mean, it kind of assumes or suggests rather that maybe the Ravens keep it a little close early and then they just start pouring it on, at some point. Or it could happen the other way around. We don't know. But no, I like that. Me personally, I was going to go 27-13. Okay. I was going to go 27-13. A little bit more conservative. Still technically like a blowout, right? But, a little bit less of a deficit. I just think that this Ravens team, we love to do this. And I hope we don't do this weekend. But sometimes it seems like we take 2 steps forward and then we take 1 step back, And I'm not saying that this game is going to be exactly like that, but if people are expecting the same sort of explosiveness from our offense going into this week, I would just say, listen, I know the Cardinals are a bad team, but temper your expectations. I don't think that things are completely gelled right now. I'm not going to let 1 week, kind of change my viewpoint on this offense completely. Like, I don't think that this is the best offense in the league. It's just not. It's still going to take some time. And at the end of the day, the Cardinals are a professional football team. So we're not just going to walk into Arizona and just literally walk right over them. I would love if we did. I don't really see that happening. So I'm going to go 27-13. Still think we get the job done relatively easily, but no 30 points this week. I hope you do. Hope I'm wrong.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to be right about the score prediction right now.
I get it. I get it.
27-13.
I respect it.
And JD in the house says 28-10 Ravens. Lamar remembers that Cardinals schedule release.
Talk about it.
Taquan Christian says 32-10 Ravens. Okay, I love that.
Do you remember and then that schedule release thing?
No, I don't. What happened? I can't remember.
So the Cardinals posted a picture of their who they played, and then it would have like a song next to it, kind of like making fun of them. And for the Ravens, I believe it was Lamar running, and they used the song by Wale called "Running Back."
Oh, you know what? I do remember that. Remember that. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Some bulletin board material for if not anybody else, Lamar Jackson, at least. And I think that the combination of that, and then also the combination of Hollywood. And I kind of started off this episode talking about Hollywood Brown, but if we remember what happened between Hollywood Brown and the Ravens, Hollywood was dissatisfied with the offense and he requested a trade. Now, if you guys remember correctly, Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown were very, very close. They're like this, very tight, right? And so it was kind of like, it kind of seemed like a little bit of a betrayal, that Hollywood was just like gonna, in the middle of the night, just up and leave. And he did that draft night. We remember he got traded. Um, and I think Lamar Jackson, he talked about it this week at a presser, and he was saying, like if it was up to me, he'd still be here. At Hollywood, he had the problem with the offense, and at the end of the day, he's going to do his best for him, yada yada. He said the right things, right? But you can kind of tell that, like, that was my boy, and like he said, if it was up to me, he'd still be here right now, And I think that there's going to be a little bit of pride that I think three parties in general are going to be playing with. And I think that's going to be Lamar Jackson. I think that's going to be Hollywood Brown. And can you guess who the last one's going to be?
Dare I say number 4?
Number 4, right. The one whose episode this is dedicated to, ZAY Flowers.
Yes.
Because again, it's like you're the new flame, right? In the relationship. You're in the new relationship. The ex is salty somewhere else. So you got to show up and show out right now. You got to show up and show out.
And Hollywood, he's probably been like, just keeping an eye on. Oh, what's Zay doing? I mean, granted, Hollywood does have more yards than him this year, which.
Well, no, I like Zay has more personally. Yards, right? Hollywood has more touchdowns.
Oh, is it? That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still rooting for Hollywood because I do have him fantasy, but yeah, I mean, I definitely think they're gonna Lamar Zay's gonna cook this week just like he did last week. But yeah, so
let's see. Sean Paul says it was not a betrayal. They all know he was leaving. Why does this story always change with Ravens fans? Yeah, I mean, they knew he was leaving, but it's still like for Lamar, like I said, if you're that close to somebody, like let's say you're working a job or something like that, right? And you got this one coworker who you're just really cool with, really tight with, and your coworker starts to talk about how he's dissatisfied with where he's at and things like that, and he wants to get up and leave, right? At the end of the day, you're not going to stop him because that's another grown adult who has to take care of what they have to take care of. But also, you're going to feel there's something in you that's going to feel slighted just a little bit, like, oh, like you left me, I think that happens. It's just a natural human emotion. Even if Lamar Jackson knew beforehand, right, that Hollywood Brown was leaving, there's still some sort of emotion there because they were so cool. They were so tight, Yeah. And it's natural to feel that. It's okay. But Sean Paul, yes, we did know that Lamar knew that Hollywood was getting traded well before that draft night. Thank you for the comment, though.
And G-Ro is gone now. So,
yes.
I mean, that was the main reason why I left.
Yes. Okay. So moving right along here in this episode of the Purple Rain podcast, episode 204, the ZAY Flowers episode. Make sure you guys go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Over 70 people watching live right now. Thank you so much for coming through to this episode. We appreciate you the most. All right. So getting into our next segment, not score predictions, but NFL Week 8 picks. So looking back at what we did in Week 7, I was bad last week.
It was
46%.
Ugly week. Ugly week.
Yeah. Definitely was an ugly week. A good amount of upsets. Simply picked at 54% last week. So over half. That's still good in my book, right?
I mean,
it's hard to pick NFL games, man.
If you add our percentages together, 100%. All I'm gonna say.
Chestnut checkers, right?
Yeah.
K-Dog saying, can we get 50 likes so the kids can eat? Yeah, man, I know that's right, man. Go ahead and like the video, y'all. But yeah, is it time?
I do think it's time. I do.
I think it's time too. I think it's time to go ahead and queue up the Week 8 picks.
Oh.
Let's get into it.
Because tonight we have the Buccaneers and the Bills in Buffalo, Orchard Park. Bills did let me down last week. How do you lose to the Patriots like that? The Patriots that couldn't buy a win. I think they bounce back this week and beat the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I was also going to take the Bills at home tonight. I think they bounced back. I thought the same thing about the 49ers last week. I'll admit that. But this Bills team, they really do seem like their backs are a little bit more up against the wall than the 49ers are, to be honest with you. So yeah, give me the Bills tonight. I think Josh Allen makes something happen.
Yeah, who are the Bills? When you take out Josh Allen running and Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, what is their offense? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a lot, when people would talk about the Ravens, they'd say, well, when you stop Lamar running and you shut down Hollywood and Mark Andrews, what is his offense? That's kind of where the Bills are with me right now. I want to see something. Moving on to the New York match, the Jets and the Giants playing. The Giants had a good win last week against Commanders. And if Tyrod is playing...
Tyrod Taylor.
I'll go with the Giants. Give me the Giants.
Giants, Jets, all sharing a stadium at MetLife on Sunday. This should be good. I think this will be a pretty good game for whoever's going to watch it. Probably just Jets and Giants fans.
And Red Zone watchers.
Rico says it's going to end in a tie. I love that. But let me I'll go with the G-Men in this one. I think Tyrod Taylor has sparked some sort of life into this team, into the offense, as a backup can sometimes do when the starter's been struggling for a long time. He goes down, and everybody else kind of gets rejuvenated around the backup and just like, all right, let's rally behind this guy because we know we have a chance at least something different is going to happen, right? There'll be a different outcome than what we get with Danny Dimes. So, give me the Giants.
Yeah. Moving on next to the Jags and the Steelers. The Jags coming off of that Thursday night win last week. And the Steelers coming off that win against the Rams. This is a weird one. Give me the Jags, though. I did like what I saw from Trevor Lawrence, who wasn't 100%, but he was still balling against the Saints. Travis Etienne, what a game he had last week. Like the Jags.
I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one. Steelers at home, right?
Yep.
Steelers at home. I think they're 4-3 right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Playing a lot better than I could definitely say a lot of people expected them to. Jags defense is not, doesn't leave all that much to be desired, especially their passing defense. So let me go with the Steelers in this one. I feel like it's going to come down to a fourth quarter decision on who's going to win. And we know how well the Steelers have been playing in the fourth quarter all season. Give me Pittsburgh.
Okay. Up next, we have a nice NFC East matchup. Eagles, Manders in DC. Yeah, I like the Eagles.
I like the Eagles too. I mean, the Manders are at that kind of stage in the season. We talked about it earlier in the show where they're kind of punting on this season by shopping around some of their better players, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, for example. So yeah, give me the Eagles. Even though Jalen Hurts is hurt. I didn't think about that. He is hurt. But I'm still going to go with the Eagles in this one. I just think they have the overall better roster. So yeah, I'll take Philly.
Up next now, we have the Rams and the Cowboys. Rams, lost the Steelers. Cowboys, they had the bye week last week, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I like the Cowboys in this one. I think they got to win this game. They want to, start getting their season back on track. The Rams right now, bad loss last week at home. Give me the Cowboys off the bye.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys too. I think they keep it close though.
Next up, Vikings, who kind of look rejuvenated. They're on a 2-game winning streak against the Jordan Love Packers, who got beat by the Broncos last week. I'll be honest, I would like the Vikings to lose, so they go in sell mode with Daniil Hunter, but I do think the Vikings pull this out and start making a comeback in the NFC North.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vikings in this one too. The Packers just have not shown me anything worth. I think week 1 they had a good win. They dropped 30, almost 40 points, but really since then I haven't really seen too much from the Packers that really suggests to me that they're a serious contender even in that division. So
yeah, honestly, we have the Arthur Smith revenge game, the Falcons and the Titans. Falcons last week not using Bijan Robinson. He had headaches. That was really weird. I was actually getting investigated by the NFL for that.
Yep.
And then the Titans, they're selling, obviously. Byard's been traded. Henry's looking to get traded. Hopkins might get traded. I believe it's Will Levis starting this week as well. Yep. Is Desmond Ridder going to do it? Honestly, I don't think so. I think the Titans are going to somehow pull this out. With that being said, every time I go against the Falcons, they win. So I'm going to go with the Titans here, but watch the Falcons win.
Yeah, for this one, I'm probably going to go with the Falcons. Only because their run D is definitely above average right now. And if you can stop Derrick Henry, I think if you put the ball in Will Levis' hands and kind of trust him to get it to a D-Hop and all those other guys on the receiving corps for the Titans, Probably gonna make a mistake or two. Probably one down the stretch, right? So yeah, give me the Falcons. Give me the Falcons.
Next up, the Patriots and the Dolphins. The Patriots coming off of a win, a good win, a real good win against the Dolphins, coming off an ugly loss to the Eagles. Tua really wasn't getting it going. Tyreek had a pretty bad drop. Jalen Waddle was non-existent. Give me the Dolphins to bounce back in this one. They beat up on the weak teams, but when they play the good teams is when they kind of struggle.
Yeah, and this is a divisional game too, so it's kind of hard to call it. It's a little bit of a coin flip, like our guy Rico says here. But I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I think they edge them out. I just think they have way more talent. Just as simple as that. And at the end of the day, I think in that fourth quarter, you're gonna see the difference in talent between those two teams, especially in the wide receiving core, and just the sheer speed that they have on that offense. Yeah. I think is going to shine through late in the game. So yeah, I'll take the Dolphins.
Next up, the Saints and the Colts. The Saints are an absolute train wreck. Chris Olave was arrested this week. Derek Carr screaming at Chris Olave during the game. Derek Carr not really on the same page as the receivers. Their offensive coordinator is basically a terrorist. Yeah, not looking good for them. The Colts, on the other hand, I felt were robbed out of a win against the Browns last week. So with that being said, I like the Colts in this game. I think the Saints are going to kind of go up in flames.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Colts in this one too.
Okay, nice. Moving on, we have the Texans and the Panthers. Stroud, Young, 1 versus 3, not 2. I like the Texans. I think the Panthers stay winless.
Yeah, give me the Texans. It's so crazy because Bryce Young, and I've yet to really sit down and watch a Panthers game all the way through, right? Like who really does that? But I don't know, man. I just gotta go. Have you seen anything from Bryce Young to suggest that, oh yeah, clear reason why he was picked first overall? Because I haven't seen much.
I can't sit here and say I've watched the Panthers, religiously. I've seen some scouts kind of say he's kind of guessing in some areas. His height is an issue, people are saying, but
yeah,
Kyler Murray is, I think, shorter or maybe the same height. He was balling.
Right.
I don't know, man. Something about, I don't know. I really don't know. I hope he gets it together. I'm rooting for him, but it could be the situation. But you look at, Thielen's balling out. DJ Chark hasn't done much. He basically is just throwing to Adam Thielen. It's Bryce Young to Adam Thielen is their offense.
Yeah. Texans.
Next up, the Browns and the Seahawks. The Browns starting PJ Walker again, who they're doing pretty good. Hello, boss. I'm glad to see you here. I'm going to pick the Seahawks, though. I need a Geno Smith revenge game to kind of bounce back. Actually, Geno Smith bounce back game. They did win last week, but the week before, the way they lost to the Bengals was heartbreaking. Give me the Seahawks. At Lumen Field, by the way.
Give me the Browns in this one. I think that the Browns defense will prove to be just a little bit too much for the Seattle Seahawks in this one. Now, I do think that this game will be relatively close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but give me the Browns. I think they edge them out.
This next one, Bengals and Niners. Sam Darnold might be starting for the Niners. I think even if Brock Purdy was starting, I'd pick the Bengals.
Huh.
I don't like the way the Niners are looking right now.
So you're saying Niners lose 3 in a row?
I am.
Ooh, I don't know if I can bet on that. Let me. I'm gonna go with the 49ers. I'm gonna go with the 49ers in this one. I know Bengals off a bye, but 49ers off of two losses. You knocked yourself a third loss in a row, and all of a sudden, your playoff chances are all of a sudden in jeopardy. At 3 losses. It's not cute. Yeah. It's not cute at all. So, I'll take the 49ers in this one. I think they bounce back in a big way, no matter who's playing quarterback.
I hope you're right. Next up, Chiefs Broncos. Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs.
No question. Ravens Cardinals. We go with the Ravens. Bears Chargers Sunday Night Football. Justin Herbert. If you lose this game, I promise you, there is no more fraud watch. You are #fraud. But Chargers.
Yeah. And I love that it's on national TV. I love that, right? Because I think this is the 3rd game the Chargers have had on primetime, 2nd or 3rd, one of the 2. I'm just happy that I get to watch Justin Herbert up close and personal because everybody's been telling me For the past couple of seasons, like, oh yeah, this kid is nice. He's the truth. You see, he's throwing for 5,000 yards here. He's throwing a bunch of touchdown passes there. Chargers fans love him. When I watch him, I don't see the special. I just don't. Especially late in games when he's the one who has to kind of shoulder the load and get the job done and make the plays. Just doesn't make them. And I would like to see, he has a little bit of that X factor in him, but we don't see it when he needs it the most, when his team needs it the most. But we do see that out of a Patrick Mahomes. We do see that out of a Lamar Jackson. We do see that out of a Josh Allen. We've seen it. We haven't seen it out of Justin Herbert. With that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers in this one.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Mm-hmm. I don't. And then I know everybody's putting the blame on Staley, and deservedly so, because he should be doing a much better job as well. He's probably about to get up out of there, if not mid-season, but definitely after this one. But yeah, I'll go with the Chargers in a close one.
All that talent they have, they trade for, they sign it, and nothing from it. Monday Night Football, Raiders, Lions. You know who I'm rocking with. Don't gotta say much. They're gonna bounce back. Detroit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions in this one too. They're the bounce back type of team. You know what I mean? Just kind of how they are, their attitude, their approach towards the game. I don't see them dropping back-to-back games, especially when they're favored in this one. Give me the Lions.
And Boz, Sutton picked the Steelers. I picked the Jags. Go ahead and hate me. You're not the first person to. So.
I did pick the Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that was our picks for the Week 8 NFL season. Yeah, it's been fun. But I think we're moving on now to
yes, that we are.
Maybe
we're gonna go ahead and move on to one of our favorite segments so far this season, which is the Purple Rain Parlay segment. Now, listen, guys, you might want to pay attention because we've been hitting on a lot of these plays. A lot of these player props we're giving you guys. I don't know if you guys are placing these bets or not, but we've been hitting. So make sure you listen up. It is time. I'm gonna let my guy Alex go ahead and lead with this one.
Yes.
What do you got on tap?
The worst part is that I'm not even playing these plays. I'm really not. Because I'm a parlay man. But I'm stepping back, I think it's time to play some streets. I believe last time I checked, the line was 22.5 for Josh Allen rushing yards. And guess what? I'm taking the over.
Ooh,
Give me the over with Josh Allen rushing yards. Vita Vea is not playing tonight. They are going to be weak up front. I think Josh Allen will have some running lanes. I like that play tonight a lot.
Okay. I like that. I can respect that. How do you feel about this? So Josh Allen, his passing yards line is set at 259.5. Do you think that it is safe to take an under there? Because I've been kind of debating on it. Do you think that's safe, the under?
Thursday night? I think it's safe. 1 o'clock CBS, I'm taking the over. Thursday night football, I'm taking the under.
Makes sense. Yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and put that one in. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just Thursday night games, they're just very ugly,
They have been,
compared to Monday night games. Last week, Jags were rolling out, and then the Saints were just awful. Oh, my God. Yeah. The Saints, dude, they're just it's shambles.
Abysmal. Yeah, for sure. Now, looking at the touchdown scorer props for this game tonight, they have Stephon Diggs at plus 100. You can get him for plus money on FanDuel. That is one that I would have my eye on if I'm building a parlay. And my rule for parlay is 3 legs or less. Anything over that, you're down to get screwed. You're just begging to get screwed. So yeah, Stephon Diggs is set at plus 100 right now as the most likely touchdown scorer in this game. And as you guys know, Stephon Diggs is Josh Allen's number 1 target. So I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown. Josh Allen under 260 passing yards. And our guy Alex is going to go with the over on Josh Allen's rushing yards. You put all those 3 together, and I wonder what we get. Let's see what we get. Under on the passing yards. And then you said the rushing yards. So over, you said 22.5, right? Yeah. So 22.5. That's going to put you at plus 523 odds. So if you put in $5 on that, you're gonna win $26. Not
Now,
generational wealth, obviously, but go ahead.
you know what your slogan is. You know what they gotta have on the betting. Gotta have a profit boost.
Gotta have that boost. Go ahead and claim it. Go ahead and claim it. You put the boost on, all of a sudden you go up to plus 785. Plus 785. And now you're winning $40 off of $5. So there you go. Food for thought. With the parlays, you want to keep it safe, you want to keep it simple, and you just want to make it easier on yourself. Nobody wants to be sweating in the fourth quarter, waiting on the seventh or eighth leg of their parlay to hit. It's just not fun. It's not fun, right? You're not even having fun watching the game at that point because you're just begging for this one thing to happen. 3 legs or less, guys. That's how you keep it lighthearted. You keep it fun. You can still watch the game. And plays kind of happen few and far between. You're just like, oh yeah, I forgot. I bet on Josh Allen rushing yards as he picks up 14 with his legs, or oh yeah, I bet on Stephon Diggs as he gets that 1 touchdown in the red zone. You know what I mean? So yeah, 3 legs or less. That is going to be the Purple Rain parlay for today. You got anything else for us?
Well, I'm just going to discuss about Monday night and our heartbreak real quick for those who care.
Yeah.
After we went off air, me and Sutton were like, you know what? Let's put together a long shot. And I actually watered it down. It was Jordan Addison, anytime touchdown score. Jordan Addison, 50+ yards. Kirk Cousins, 2+ passing touchdowns. Kittle, 50+ yards. And Kittle, anytime touchdown score. I believe you had Addison and Kittle 70+?
60+ yards.
60+. It was plus 2,000 for me, and it was plus 2,700 for you.
Yes.
And we missed by a George Kittle touchdown.
That's it.
That's why. I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
it's really heartbreaking. So just be smart with your coinage. That's really all I got for you.
And to be fair, that was a lotto play, right? So we weren't really expecting that one to hit. It was just kind of like high hopes. Let's just throw it out there, right? Throw a little unit on there, whatever you want to call it. But that's why I try to stick to the rule: 3 legs or less. Because FanDuel, they set these lines so perfectly. Each leg that you put on a parlay is like a 50-50 chance hitting, basically like flipping a coin. Imagine making a 7-leg parlay or imagine flipping a coin 7 times. You got to hit heads 7 times in a row. That's really, really hard to do. 3 legs or less. I hope that made sense. Okay.
Oh, I got it.
So we're going to leave that one there for the Purple Rain parlay. We hope you guys enjoyed that segment. And now it's time for some questions. It's time for some questions for the Rain Gang. Go ahead and drop your questions down below in the chat as we go ahead and wrap this episode. Again, thank you guys all for coming. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. And if you have any questions for us about, maybe tonight's game or Sunday's game or, other sports, right? Basketball just started back up. Or you can ask us about anything. It doesn't even have to be about sports, right? Just ask us anything down below in the chat right now if you're here live. If you are not watching live, you're part of the hashtag replay gang. Or if you don't know what the replay gang or the Rain Gang is, this your first time seeing our faces and hearing our voices, hello. Welcome to the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate you for coming through. Maybe consider liking the video if you've been enjoying the content you've been consuming. And then maybe consider subscribing to the channel as well. We'd greatly appreciate both of those things. So with that being said, let me go ahead and see what questions we have from you guys here. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with Dre says, is it smart to take the Bills spread -10? Ooh. I'd say no. I'd say no. I'd say -7, right? Something like
6.5.
that. 6.5.
6.5.
Right. Bills -6.5. I think that would be the smarter bet for sure. Let me see. J Prime 235 says over or under on Baker 100 yards passing. I'm gonna go ahead and take the over on that one.
Over.
Just 100 yards. That's it.
Yeah.
100 yards. Yeah, he'll definitely get that, especially if the Bills maybe jump out to an early lead, or if they just keep it close, if they're just competitive all game. You're going to see Baker throwing that football around. He has no shame in doing that. So I definitely see 100 yards coming from Baker Mayfield. Boz says here, who do I go with my flex option this week? DJ Moore, ZAY Flowers, or who's GP? Oh, Pickens.
George Pickens.
Right.
Georgito Pickens.
What's DJ Moore been looking like?
The Chargers have, I think, they were 32nd ranked on ESPN. That is because I had DJ Moore in one of my leagues. 32nd ranked pass defense. But Zay, man, he was cooking last week. I feel like because after watching The Wired, Keith Williams kind of telling him, hey, like, go and take off for that touchdown. You're fast enough. I could see him getting a touchdown this week. But I also could see the Bears playing from behind.
Yeah, they got Tyson Bagent starting at quarterback.
But Pickens just called out the Jags defense. So he's either going to be 125 and a touchdown or 1 catch, 7 yards.
I'm going to go with Zay Flowers in this one simply because I think that he has just a higher target share. He gets the ball, and the way that he gets the ball, they like to get it to him quick, right? So it's more surefire completions, right? So if you're in a PPR league, screen passes, stuff like that, that's real easy, wide receiver screen, stuff like that. That's easily just 1 point. And then you know what he can do after the catch too. So yeah, I'm going to go with Zay Flowers for that reason, just because of how the Ravens utilize him.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you an answer because probably for our league, so screw you. But either DJ Moore or Zay Flowers.
Let's see. Raven Ron says, does Lamar sit out with the shades on in the fourth quarter this Sunday? So yeah, last week, I think it was the first time this year that Lamar Jackson did not play some of the game in the fourth quarter. Tyler Huntley actually came in for the last couple of drives or so. Do we think that happens on Sunday against the Cardinals? Do we blow them out that bad?
I think Tyler
Huntley said 31-10.
I think he comes in for a final series.
Okay. Final series. That makes sense. I like that. Let me see. We do have another super chat donation. This one's coming from Asmodeus, dropping the McChickens and the 2-piece in the chat. Thank you so much, Asmodeus.
I haven't had a McChicken in like 3 years, honestly. Yeah. I think it was like when me and all my friends went on a trip together. The last time I had a McChicken.
Yeah, I haven't had one since. I can confidently say I have not had a McDonald's McChicken since at least 2016. For sure.
Wow. That's like
college days. Yeah. Yep. You already know how that goes. But thank you so much, Asmodeus. Thank you for the 2-piece making it rain here. All right. And Jabari Cruz Ellis will go ahead and end it with this. Says, any games where y'all can see an upset this week?
I feel like for the NFL storyline, the Bears taking down the Chargers in primetime would be pretty funny.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious. Oh my God. I'm lighting the timeline on fire with Justin Herbert slander.
You're waking up early Monday morning.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no, that's a good one though.
That's really all. Because the Rams could beat the Cowboys, but I can't consider that an upset. Because Puka and Cooper are doing their thing. Staff, Donald.
You can't really consider Steelers over the Jaguars an upset, can you?
Nope.
No. Yeah.
Because they're 4 I mean, if the Steelers were 2 and something, maybe.
Yeah. Now I could see maybe, potentially, possibly, maybe the Patriots beating the Dolphins. And again, because it's just a divisional matchup.
Yep.
They could keep them bottled up for most of the game and then just kind of squeak one out at the end. So yeah, I'll go with the Patriots over the Dolphins, even though I picked the Dolphins over the Patriots. Okay. I'm gonna end it with a super chat donation. Another one coming from Asmodeus. He said the McChicken's not good enough. Well, guess what? I got something else for you. I got the $5 foot long, dropping the 5-piece in the chat, man.
I came to you last
time. We love it, man.
Actually, no, I can. It was the same trip. We had Subway on the way back. Baj, you were there.
I'm not gonna lie. I do eat Subway from time to time. I probably had Subway maybe 3 weeks ago. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I mean, it's only because there's one at my job. It's just convenient, that's why I do it. But yeah, thank you so much again, Asmodeus, for the super chat donations. Thank you to everyone who sent the super chat donation. Thank you to everyone who left a comment in the live chat. Thank you to everyone who left a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you to everyone who liked this video. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to us in the past and everyone who subscribed to us today after listening to this show. We really do appreciate it. You can find us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast, like you see right here on the screen. You can follow me. My name is Sutton Def. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. Real simple. And then Simply AS10. You can find him on Twitter at Simply AS10. On Instagram at simplyas10.prod. On TikTok, which is my favorite platform of his. He just posted a Jalen Hurts video today, or it might have been yesterday. Loved it. Make sure you guys go follow him on TikTok as well. And then, like he led the episode with, Manscaped. It's the gift giving season. We're done talking about it's almost here. No, holiday season is here. When the Halloween month comes, which is October, obviously, holiday season's here. Go ahead.
Are you dressing up for Halloween?
I normally don't, to be honest with you. Sometimes I'll be lazy on Halloween and I'll just like wear a Lamar Jackson jersey and be like, I'm a football player. If I have to like attend a party or something like that,
Right.
I've definitely pulled that off before. But I didn't really think about dressing up this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going something small, but I'm actually gonna be Jack Harlow. Real easy, white dude, curly hair. I have nothing New Balance though, so we're gonna try to finesse something out of there.
Is he sponsored by New Balance or something?
Yep.
Yeah. It'd be
but
funny.
The good news
It'd be
is
funny. Yeah.
The kids are eating. I'm sorry, but what's funny?
Oh, nice. Thank you guys so much for the likes on the video. Let's keep those likes rolling through. But what would be funny though is if we did we dressed up for Halloween, but we dressed up as NFL coaches, like head coaches. That would be pretty funny. Like I could see somebody pulling off an Andy Reid. You could do the Sean McVay. I don't know who I would do. I got to think about like black coaches in the league. Mike Tomlin. No, I'm not like Mike Tomlin. No, I wouldn't do that.
You got to give like every single cookie cutter speech. Wait, if you have red paint, you got to paint the barn red. That's a classic Mike Tomlin one. Or the standard is the standard.
Yeah. But okay. Boss says Matt Canada for Halloween. That's a scary sight indeed. Yeah, we'll definitely scare a lot of Pittsburgh fans with that costume for sure. But again, thank you guys for coming through. Still almost 70 people watching live right now. So thank you guys so much for coming through to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Again, my name is Sutton Def. That's simply AS10. And with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you all for coming through episode 204 of the Purple Rain podcast. Hope to see you on a Victory Monday. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
Yeah, and never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This has been episode 204 of the Purple Rain podcast. We're going to catch you guys